They pay for your learning.
Exactly.
Right. That's
and
smart.
your mistakes.
Yeah.
And your mistakes, because you are going to make mistakes at the beginning, but then you're going to be more supervised. You're going to have somebody that's going to be teaching you the ropes along the way, so that when you do make that jump to yourself, you have a lot more confidence. You know that you can do the work. You know that you can deliver. So it just makes it a little easier.
What's the upside of your industry? The glamour.
The glamour is, I mean, we have been working now for, actually during the entire time of the agency, we have done award shows, and those are exciting and they're fun. You deal with a lot of celebrities, you deal with red carpets, all the, like you said, the glamour and the glitz. Granted, there's a lot of work behind it and a lot of stress behind it, but I enjoy them. I enjoy them because the team that works all those award shows, and I'm not talking about just a PR team, but all the departments that get together and actually make these magnum events happen, they're wonderful. They're wonderful to work with. Great people.
What's the downside? I mean,
the downside, I think, of any type of entrepreneur is that when it's your own business, it means that you have to take care of it and you have to be there. And sometimes that's very challenging, because it's not like one of those situations where something happens in your personal life and now, you can take some time off work. No, you need to be there to run the business, because people are counting on you and people are depending on you. And that's really challenging. There have been times in my life when it's been very difficult to show up and to make that commitment because of personal issues. But you have to. You have no choice.
You cannot ask for sick days or,
exactly,
create some situation and you just don't show up calling sick.
I'm not saying, yes, of course you're going to take, of course I take vacation and of course I do have some sick days. But, to give you an example, about 10 years ago, I lost my husband and he died very...
sorry to hear that.
No, thank you. He died very unexpectedly. And so it was, overnight, all of a sudden I find myself without my husband. I have a 4-year-old daughter. And I have a business to run. So, as an entrepreneur, you can't say, well, I'm going to take a month off because I can't deal with this, or, I need to focus on my daughter. The business is running. You have people that are working for you. They have their families also that depend on you. So you have to keep going. So
how do you handle it in terms of where do you get the strength, the fortitude to deal and take care of your business? I
think a big part of it is the commitment to my team. That was one of it. I have people that depend on me, that work with me. And so I wanted to make sure that the company didn't suffer, because if it suffered, they were going to suffer. And myself and my daughter were going to suffer. So that was a big drive to make sure that, I made it through. And obviously, when you have built something and it's gotten to a certain level, you don't want to just lose it and see it go. So you're going to do everything in your power to keep it going and to keep moving. Where do you find the strength? I don't know. Honestly, I think that for me, I've always been a pretty strong person, but I think that I've always been very positive. I remember back then I told my parents, because they said, how are you doing this? You're getting up, you're going to work, and how? And I'm like, no, I'm not. Of course, there are days that I did not want to get out of bed. Of course, there are days, and and I remember telling my father, I said, I got to tell you, there's times when I'm like, I feel like I'm laying on the floor and I'm thinking I'm done. I can't get up. And then I think, well, at least I'm looking up.
Mm-hmm.
I could be looking down. That could be worse. And I always think about that. As hard and difficult as the experience that I went through, becoming a widow at a young age, continuing my business in spite of all of that grief, I always think there are people out there who have it much worse. So if they can do it, I can do it.
That's very interesting and inspiring. I respect you for that. And do you think that you could apply the same tactics today that you used when you launched your business some time ago?
Some of the tactics have maintained and are the same, but the tactics evolve, and they've evolved because of technology. and of different innovations in our own business. So I
and
would
society
say it's a combination.
Also.
And society, correct.
Right.
Correct.
The market, let's say.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, a perfect example, you look at, before we focused mainly on media, and now you have all the influencers, and with their social media followers. And so you can't just ignore that aspect of it. You have to also embrace it and figure out, okay, this is different. We're not going to target the influencers the same way that we target media, but we can't ignore the fact that they exist and they're reaching a very broad audience.
So I'm glad that you mentioned that word, influencers. How do you work with them?
In different ways. One of the things about influencers that we are very aware of is that why they have become successful in what they do is because they have their own followers based on the type of content that they produce. We look at them as content creators, basically, and they are originals. Each one of them has something that they're offering that is very unique. So what you want to do is you want to work with them in a way that you don't take away that uniqueness. It would be a disservice for me to tell an influencer, this is what I want you to do, and that's it. I want you to. No, I would rather work with them hand in hand and say, okay, we're going to work on this together. This is what I can give you as far as access or as far as information. How can you turn it around into your own way with your own personal touch? Because that, at the end of the day, that's how they reach their followers.
So do you pay also for those services?
Some are paid and a lot are non-paid. It depends on what the campaign is. So
some of them are not paid. So correct. How do they live? How do they?
Because the ones that are not paid, a lot of the time, what we're offering them is the ability to produce content that they want. So if we give them certain tools and certain access that allows them to develop content, that actually is beneficial to them.
I understand. So how do you get to where you are at this point, considering huge competition? I mean, your business, your industry is tough because let's say you have a very good customer, a network, let's say. Many people want to take it away from you, steal it from you. They'll do anything possible to take it away. How do you deal with the two factors, the people behind that intention to harm you in a way, and also the factor of the threat, the right. danger that if that happens, I'm
a believer that you have to focus on what you can control. You cannot control the amount of people that are going to go after your job because that's going to happen no matter where you're at. And I can't control, any factors that are thrown out there to kind of get in our way. The only thing that I can control is what we can produce and whether our client is happy and that we deliver results. So the way that we do it is we don't, like, for example, we have clients that we've had for, like I said, all throughout the life of this agency. Just because we do something, let's say that we do an event and it's an annual event, we don't repeat the formula, which would be very easy. It would be very just easy to say, you know what, we do this event every year and we repeat the formula, and guess what? It works really well and it gets results. So there's really no need to make any changes. I don't believe that. I believe that there's always room for growth. There's always room for innovation. And so by doing that, you continue to be valuable to the company and to your clients, because you're showing them that you're not just going to sit on your laurels and, just take the easy ride because you know that you can deliver certain results, but that you're always pushing the envelope, that you always want to bring in, new tactics, new strategies, and keep it fresh and reach new audiences and help them achieve their business objective, but showing them that you're going to always be pushing for more.
What's the most common mistake you see entrepreneurs make?
I think a lot of entrepreneurs give up sometimes too early. It's not easy to launch your own business. And there are times when all of a sudden you think, oh my gosh, the world is against me because everything is going wrong. Like this happened and that happened. And all of a sudden it's like you're thinking, why did I do this? What was I thinking? And I think that you have to just, plow through it, because there will always be ups and downs. But if you continue to just plow through it, you will get through it. You will make it. It's just a storm, and storms pass. So I think one of the mistakes is just maybe giving up and not continuing that, or maybe listening to other people that are like, why are you going to do that? Are you crazy? You have a stable job. Why are you going to leave it? You have a family and all that guilt that goes along with it that, instead of, having you fly and soar and see what heights you can reach, they bring you down. So, not listening to those people, listening to yourself and listening to what you feel you can accomplish and how far you can go, because you can control that.
What's more important for you, a great concept or a great deal of passion?
Passion. I don't think that I could be where I'm at today if I was not passionate about what I do. And why do I say that? Because when it's 11 o'clock at night and I'm doing the work, right, and everyone's asleep and everybody has gone to bed and people are, have had dinner and they're all happy. And there I am in front of my computer working. It's passion that drives me, that I want to do a great job, that I want to keep going, that I want to do things better.
So you think that passion makes a concept better?
I do believe
feasible?
That.
Even if kind of a lousy concept, if you have passion, you turn it into a successful one?
Yes. And that's where if you're passionate about something, you're going to be creative and you're going to be like, okay, yeah, what we have to do work with here is not that exciting, but how do we turn it around? And that's a challenge. And if you have the passion, you're going to want to, basically race to the challenge. So I think that passionate is definitely key.
So where or when better, did you find that you were successful? That moment was at night, probably looking, at the ceiling in your bedroom, or probably, looking at the moon or the sunset, or when did you actually realize that you were successful?
Successful as an entrepreneur, successful in my career.
Entrepreneur. I think your career is to be an entrepreneur, isn't it?
Well, I was 10 years in a corporate role, so it's both, I feel that I was successful, but yeah, I see what you're saying. I think the first time that I felt successful, just as in terms of what I do, was when I was pulled by the local Telemundo station to become their PR manager. I was 25 at the time, and I was the youngest manager on board. And so I realized then, I'm getting pretty far pretty quickly here, and granted, it came with a lot of sacrifice, but I felt it gave me just the strength to realize I can accomplish a lot. I can really do a lot here.
So that was as an employee.
That was as an employee.
Yeah. Your profession. And then as an entrepreneur?
As an entrepreneur, the minute I signed my first contracts, and I thought, okay, I can do this. I don't need the weekly paycheck. I can make this happen with the clients that I'm getting right now.
So what would be your advice to young entrepreneurs, the ones that are listening and they want to launch a business, a concept that they have? What would be your advice to them?
Number one, prepare. Don't just get out there and throw it out there. I mean, you want to prepare, develop your business plan. Focus on, okay, what is it that you're trying to achieve? And look at the big picture, because a lot of people get focused on the small picture, So look at the big picture. What is it that you're trying to accomplish? What mark are you trying to leave? So see what competition there is. See, who's out there. Is there anyone out there doing the same thing? Or have you found a niche? See what your strengths and weaknesses are, so that you can get a real clear picture of when you launch, what exactly are you up against and how you're going to manage those challenges. But more than anything, if this is your passion, go for it. Go for it. Don't look back. Go for it. Don't listen to anybody. Just go for it.
But still, you have to do what you are saying.
Yes, completely.
Do your homework.
You have to do your homework. You have to really research and see what's out there. You have to see, where are you going to fall in that spectrum? Are you going to fall, with a ton of competition and you're going to be one of the little guys? Or, do you see yourself as a strength? What are you bringing to the table? You need to bring something to the table that's different. You need to look for the gap. What gaps are out there? I mean, that's one thing that, when I launched my own business,